Today, the White House intervened for the first time to stop a key witness from cooperating with Democrats' impeachment inquiry, blocking top diplomat Gordon Sondland from showing up for his deposition only hours before it was scheduled to take place.
By preventing us from hearing from this witness and obtaining these documents, the President and Secretary of State are taking actions that prevent us from getting the facts needed to protect the nation's security.
President Trump said he stopped it because the inquiry is illegitimate, calling it a totally compromised kangaroo court. His allies signaling this could be a broader strategy to stonewall, with one saying the days of playing nice are done.
When you have a Speaker of the House who says we need to strike while the iron's hot, when you have a chairman of the committee who is so biased against this president.
The fight coming as CNN is learning more about the call that started it all. Sources say as soon as Trump hung up with Ukraine's president in late July, a mad scramble began inside the administration. At least one National Security Council official alerted the White House's national security lawyers that there were concerns about what Trump said. Those are the same lawyers who later ordered the transcript moved to a more secure server in order to limit those who could see it. Several aides frantically asked if they should notify other senior officials who weren't on the call, like those at the Justice Department, since Trump had invoked the Attorney General's name several times. The focus now turning to those who listened in during the call, including the Secretary of State, top national security officials, and aides for the Vice President and Chief of Staff. Democrats say despite White House efforts to stonewall, they'll continue their investigation of whether Trump abused the power of his office.
Through this impeachment inquiry, we are determined to find the answers. Thank you.
One of the president's biggest defenders in all of conservative media is reportedly turning on him. CNN's Oliver Darcy has been following the changes on the Drudge report. And as you and I were just chatting in commercial break, I mean, Drudge has been hammering him at a level we have never seen the last couple of weeks.
And this is important because Drudge is considered to be one of the more powerful people in conservative media.
Yeah.
So goes Drudge, so goes the conservative media. And so to see him hammer the president repeatedly, day after day, on this impeachment inquiry, on this Ukraine call, it has really been remarkable. Now, what we don't know yet is whether he's going to be able to pull the rest of the conservative media to his narrative. That's something he's been successful in doing over the years. When he sets a narrative, other sites hoping to get linked on his page so they can get large volumes of traffic will kind of go to his narrative, write stories that are framed based on what Drudge is linking. And so it's not clear yet if that's going to happen and if you're going to see other conservative news organizations sort of frame their stories in ways that Drudge might like and then link to. That's something to pay attention to. That's what's made Drudge one of the more powerful members of the conservative media universe for some time. But even regardless of that, he gets a lot of traffic on his website, and so it's really stunning to see him, one of the president's biggest supporters early on, turn on him. Yeah.
First of its kind, though, in this case, tariffs that have already been applied, they're going to be waived going forward for a year. This feels like a huge step from China. Is it an olive branch ahead of fresh talks, or is this acknowledgement that tariffs are hurting the domestic economy, or perhaps both here?
I think a little bit of both, but the latter is a big driver here. I mean, you're talking about cancer treatment drugs, and you're talking about the kinds of products you use to feed livestock and in the production of their own agriculture industry. So it looks to me like they're trying to make sure that really important parts of their economy aren't going to be hurt, and the social, frankly, social stability in their country isn't going to be hurt by the higher prices there. Cancer patients and farmers, that's, you know, pretty basic here. So you got two big rounds here. One list, it's a total, just you can waive these categories. It's everything from shrimp seedlings, fish meal for feed, lubricating oil, and the like. The second list, these are also exemptions: whey, a mold release agent, base stock for lubricating oil. Some of these you're going to be able to get a refund on if you've already paid these tariffs. Others, there's just a reprieve going forward.
Yeah, absolutely. And I did note that neither pork nor soybeans, of course, critical.
Politically sensitive, not on that list.
Yeah.
Lights out for hundreds of thousands of people in Northern California just because of the threat of wildfires. A few hours ago, PG&E started to shut off power in a precautionary measure in multiple counties. They expect the wind to be super strong, and the fear is if any of the power lines are live and they go down, it'll spark a big fire. Officials say people should be prepared to be without power for maybe a week.
They want to make sure it's, it's going to be okay. So I'm okay with a couple of days.
Let's hope it's not a prolonged downage so that people's food in their refrigerators and they aren't too terribly inconvenienced.
PG&E said it's probable that its equipment is what started the deadliest and most destructive fire in the history of the state last year.